And like touching on real quick, I think it would be nice to have a do and don't list available for people. For example, my brother Juan, when he had to have his heart liver transplant, my brother Diego had already gone through the procedure, put together an organization to help bring in funds to help with the costs. And he's been doing that. It's called Juanapalooza, after my brother.
Oh.
And it's on the 7th or 8th year. But about 4 years ago, he went ahead and posted it on Facebook, which made it a public announcement. And the ABC raided the entire place. They had a beer truck donated by Bud Light. Everything was fine. It was on private property.
Yeah.
But the ABC, let me tell you, when I pulled up there were 13
license.
He didn't have a license for public. And because he posted it on Facebook, everyone's welcome, they caught him with a loophole, confiscated all the funds. Excuse me. And it was just a very disappointing event that year.
Yeah.
Did he have a planner, a person that actually
He
knew
did,
about
but
the...
they didn't know anything about the fact that because he posted it on Facebook, it made it a public event, he needed a special license.
Because it's a
from the
number of
ABC.
people that, you know, it could be only 50 people, but, you know, then you have the potential
They had the
of
patty
coming like
wagon.
1,000 people, so you need licensing, you need the fire marshal, you need all kinds of codes in the area in order
And
to
they had
make
had
it.
no problems before, but it was because they had, I mean, they legally had no problems with it for years. But because at that point, the event had gotten so big that they posted it on Facebook to get a larger
It becomes a
group.
public event, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Sounds like you need Ursula's help.
A helicopter, a paddy wagon, and 10 police cars, just to tell them that they need to stop. And then they took the funds and made them dump all the Jello shooters and any open beers and stuff like that.
Well, you had
But
alcohol.
now, yeah, and now they know better. But if he had a little bit of maybe guidance, because although he should have known a little better, he was overwhelmed with what he was trying to do at the time. And I think it just snowballed into a bigger event than he thought it would be.
Who would you go to for guidance? Like,
Planner.
okay.
Exactly.
So is that what
An
you
event
thought
planner.
Right off the bat, like, who do I don't know who to go to? Because I have to tell you, I often don't know who to go to,
Right.
and I was going
Call
like
the
state attorney
associations.
general as a start.
Yeah, you call associations, or, you know, they can give you feedback, you know, in your community. And we got, for instance, you know, NPR, we got chapters in every city. So, in every, you know, state. So the Potomac chapter is the one here. So you can call any planner and say, you know, I'm doing this event. Do you have anybody, or would you give me some guidance? And they will tell you, number one, you know, how many people and so forth, what is expected, and, you know,
He had
the
to
type of
establish
venue
a
that you
company.
have.
He had to establish his own company to put on the event. And then he can go through licensing that way and make it legal for the next time around.
Would you ever think to go to, like, I don't know, the city hall or the mayor's office or your local city councilor for?
I never thought about that, but that's what I would do now when we organize a race. I didn't know about this, but if there's two people meeting at a public park, at a federal park, you have to have a permit.
Yep, also permits, yes.
For two
I've been
people?
sitting around with 3 friends, and the ranger has come to us. Sure, he was trying to give us a hard time, but he was right. He says, do you have a permit to be here? There's still more than 2 people here. And we actually did have a permit. And we showed them the permit. Actually, we do have a permit. But that's something that I didn't know before getting involved in running and races. That's something you're like, oh, if you are here or you're doing something, you probably need a permit to do this.
Even just like a checklist. Do you have this? Do you have that?
Yes.
Do you think you
Yeah.
need this? Do you need that?
Yeah, you're providing, you know, you're having people can going to have, you know, any type of medical issue. If you think about the weather, you know, for instance, when I have done an event here at the mall, and we have to check with, you know, park police, and we also have to put, like, you know, tents, hydrating, you know, tents, because, you know, we have people that, you know, they were over 80. It was an event for the 60th, for the Korean War Commemoration Committee, and it was the 60th anniversary. So that was something that, you know, we had people that, you know, that were over 85 years old, so that they could just collapse, and, you know, so we had lots of, you have to see you know, you have to do an assessment.
It's really good.
What can go wrong,
Mhm.
and if you don't have it,
Right, yeah.
always think the worst case scenario.
I think that's so interesting to your point. I think particularly Miguel, like there's certain things you just wouldn't know. Now, you as a planner have, so a lot
What
of
if?
insight. So you can, a lot of what if, you can think, well, what if? But I think for, even with Monopalooza, there's just
Yeah.
certain things that you just
Yeah,
wouldn't
well, even
know.
with my healthcare, I've been trying to get Medicaid and all that in place, so when I do have my heart surgery, I'll be able to take care of myself medically. But it's a runaround, and then they don't tell you certain times that you know, no, you need to go ahead and get that filled in, but they're going to deny you. And that's the only way you're gonna be able to get over to this side of things. You have to first be denied, so you're struggling trying to get approved, so that you can make it to that next echelon, and they're saying, well, no, what you need to do is get denied, and that automatically bumps you up to the next line. But these are things that they don't tell you.
Who would you trust for advice on things like that?
There's anybody you can trust. I mean, I've gone to my doctor. I had a procedure a few weeks ago, and they told me, yeah, it's all in network. You're not gonna have to pay much, only the copayment. And now I'm realizing that some of the people that were involved in that procedure were not in network, and now I don't have to pay out of my pocket for those things. It's like, so I'm going through something that's, nobody wants to go through a medical procedure. And now, after I had that done and had bad news, now I have to deal with payment.
So, just in the interest of time, this is actually really helpful. I'm actually, no, because one of the things I was struggling with, and I was sharing this with you before, was the Value Prop 4, and we just got some great input on the Value Prop 4 on the other side. So
That's what we were saying. This is not a traditional focus group.
No, I'm
But
actually
you
excited.
are-
Thank you. No, this is
I enjoy this. This is much better than staying in front of a screen and going close one eye, close the other eye, and listen to this audio for half an hour and see if it matches the video. Because I've done that for Viacom and all that, and Verizon and all that.
Yeah. No, this is very,
Yeah.
very helpful.
I'll leave it at jury, and that was a case, they're not supposed to say what it was, but, and then it was like 2-day thing, or
Yeah.
what you think, but it was interesting.
See, and in our case, this is all about understanding you and how we, as a member organization, ARP, can help better address your needs. And that's what we want to do, but then if we don't know what your needs are, we can't, how can we address them? So this is really, really helpful to get at some of those needs. I mean, to your point, in the interest of time, should we go through the
Well,
concept?
yeah, so let's spend a minute, just take a look at this concept. It's literally the first 2 bullets on this page. And as you go through it, you have your pen. If anything is confusing, circle it. If anything's really jumping out at you as, oh, that's a great word or words, you can underline it. If anything you don't like, just cross it out. But just spend a couple of minutes and just go through it, and then we can discuss.
And again, this is very early stage. So it's not fully baked. The language may not be perfect, but we just want to get your feedback on the idea. What's good
You
about
want me
it?
to
What's
correct the
not good about it?
punctuation as well?
I was gonna ask the same thing.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Make a note,
Okay.
but we want to get.
That is one of the things that I do, is that, when I do my events, we have a conference program, and I, quality check the whole thing, and I go like, even though it goes through, and then it comes back to me, and I go, okay, this is jumping at me. Because, English is not my first language, Spanish is. But, I speak it enough, and
Yes,
in order for things to just jump at you, and I'm like, okay, should
So
we
make the edits.
correct that? Okay.
Go ahead.
But
please.
I think we
Appreciate it.
wanted to circle the words that were kind
Yeah,
of
circle things that were
confusing,
confusing.
underline the
Okay.
ones that you liked, cross out ones that you felt were kind of
Just one thing I
negative.
wanted to say, because when you started in your introduction, you say AARP is an organization that caters for people from 50 and up. I always have been under the assumption that it was 65 and up. So maybe you need, maybe for the rest of the public, maybe I'm not the only one,
You're not.
but
You're
I
not
had
the
no
only
idea that it was from 50 and up.
So and actually it goes
I've seen
beyond
the
that.
ads that say anyone can join, but what's the limit?
So
There's not
it's actually
blurry.
So our membership is from 50 and up, but we really try to enhance society for all. So my value as an employee, I come to work because of my kids. I know if we can fix it, my kids are gonna have a better life. So in other words, we do have a societal view, but our membership is legally from 50 and over. So when we endorse products and services and stuff like that, it's really for the 50 plus, but we do try to.
And the ARP, is it a government sponsored or is it a nonprofit?
We have 501c4.
Separate nonprofit organization.
I
I think because the name originally, the American Association of Retired Persons, and I think there was a time when people thought, okay, you retire at 65 because of all like the Medicare and all of the things that kick in, Social Security, all the things that kick in, and ARP has always and will continue to advocate to support and protect those programs, and that's probably why you think older.
Yeah, our origins were 65. I mean, we started off at that age, and then we amended to 50. So when we were formed, it was around getting.
But has that been a type of information that have gotten out even in your commercials?
Well, it sounds to me like it hasn't gotten that because you still think we're a lot older.
Because right now we are.
I'm a little fuzzy on it too. I've seen the commercials where they show, it's not just for the older people, but retired personnel are people, the RP of it. I'm retired disabled, but I'm only 47.
It's not retired. You're an
It's-
ally
I'm
of real
disabled.
possibilities.
That's our heritage, that's the thing. And
Right.
you actually could help us as we try to change that so that people understand this isn't just about people that are retired. I mean, it's about people that are a little older, or over 50, but they're still working. And what we hear, we do a lot of this listening to people. We hear people say, I'm 70, I still want to work, I'm still vibrant. So this idea of retired, and then of course there's some people who say, I'm never going to retire because I can't afford to retire.
It's like my mother, for instance. My
I think
mother,
everyone should be limited by age.
She's
If you're
75.
You're 75, you want to go to school and get a degree. You can do
Why
it
not?
as well.
Yeah, we
and my mother always, she has a contract under Marriott that, she does the garnishing on tables and things for, and that, she loves doing that. So even if it's like, 3-4 hours a day,
Right.
and tells my dad, this is what I want to do, this is where I feel alive, instead of being just, flustered, watching TV and changing channels, and tells my dad, get out, do something.
And that, we support that. We are all about the Challenges with real possibilities.
So my father goes from my sister's house to my, to my house, and, feeds my cat, and, goes back around. He said, I did something.
Good. Okay, so, yes. Take a look, read through.
There are a lot of programs and offers that you guys do provide or offer for those under 50.
What we do for all.
Right, okay. 'Cause either way, I'm heading this way, but I'm just not 50 yet.
I guess that is a better option, heading that way as opposed to not.
Well, and I fully expect to go back to work as soon as all, because my brothers are both back at work. And my brother Dave, who's 6 years younger, he was the first one to go undergo the operations, and he's got 2 little baby girls now. They didn't think he'd even be able to have one kid. The physical exertion even just for him would be too much. But, he's back at work and up and running, so is my brother Juan. And I've worked all my life. This is the first time for me. I'm dying, just sitting at home. And it's killing me. I physically can't do the work, and by law I can't, because I've been deemed disabled.
But your intent is to get right back out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what ARP is all about. Sort of never being limited by your age
You also
or your
rehab
ability.
programs or assistance with anything that would help rehabilitate someone, not only physically but educationally. That's a definite plus.
So what did you guys? So tell me anything you guys circle.
Okay, let me try to finish reading, sorry.